Good afternoon and happy holidays, everyone. Decided to make a video on this Nanfang Brothers Chef's knife because, well, there's still not really any online. I've had this knife for about a year now, so this isn't your typical, just got it in the mail and cut an onion with it sort of overview, or I wouldn't even call it a review. I doubt I'll go in depth enough for the sort of things you'd expect from that. But, I wanted you to at least have a video online of it that you can look at, some impressions, and then, you know what, you'll make your own mind up. So, this is how the knife comes. Just a box like this. There's an ugly sticker, which I haven't been able to remove the residue from completely well, but that's fine. It's just a plain cardboard box, not much to it. Here in foam, there's a cutout for the knife itself, as you can see. Comes with a tip protector, the usual kind you'll be seeing in a lot of knives of this style. And a very polished micarta-like handle. I'm not sure if it's micarta with 100% certainty, but as you can tell, it does present the same sort of layering aspect to it, and it's well polished. And the knife is well finished here. There's not really any ugly bumps that are going to be uncomfortable when you're holding the knife, or the finishing's rather good, so no concerns there. The design itself is, if you're familiar with kitchen knives on the higher end of the spectrum, you'll be familiar with Bob Kramer, who has a very similar design to this, being produced by Zwilling, and this is, the same sort of design philosophy, but in a much cheaper package. When I bought this knife, got it from Amazon, it was about around 50 euros, and now it's even cheaper, believe it or not. I've seen it for around 35. Although, sales apply and whatnot. And for the price, honestly, it's difficult to do better. I can't imagine how you do it without being, made in a large production Chinese factory, because the knife delivers on pretty much every aspect. So, here's the masks pattern that I have here. I've used this knife over a year, not every day, because I cycle through my knives like a lot of other people like me who are probably watching this video and have a bunch of knives that you go on through, but I've done enough work with it that cutting lemons, onion, other acidic sort of fruit, that I think if this was just, printed on or lasered on pattern, it'll be coming out. It's very faint. It presents better on camera than in person sometimes, honestly. But as you can see, I'm doing my damnedest with my nail here, and it's not scratching off or anything. It's just a very light edge pattern into it. You can tell that maybe they could have done a slightly better job, like, for example, up here. It feels like they left a little bit too much of the cladding near the core, or maybe they don't use a thick enough piece of the core material, which should claim to be VG10, but, it won't be VG10 if it's not made in Japan. It's probably 10CR 15 chrome over, or something like that. So it'll be basically VG10 chemically, but not Japanese VG10. And yeah, they probably use a very thin layer of it, as you can see from how you see still some bits of cladding this close to the edge. But for what you pay for it, especially considering that the cladding, the core material is at the core. At the end of the day, that's where you want it. It'll work well enough for you. In terms of edge geometry, the knife is fairly thin. It's about 2 millimeters at the spine, which is on the thinner end, especially when you look at this profile. It has a really wide blade. You'd think it'd be thicker, and then a lot of room for thinning down. No, it's a thin blade from the start, and it, keeps being thin. When I got it from the factory, thickness of the edge behind the grind was around, I think, 7 to 8 thousandths of an inch, which is exceptionally good. In a knife of this size, some would probably say it's too thin, not in my opinion. If you think it's too thin, well, you're going to sharpen it out soon enough anyway, but in my opinion, really good edge geometry. I've been keeping the edge honed with just Spyderco Fine ceramic and plain leather strap, no compound, just plain, and a couple of straps per side, 2 or 3 passes per side, and after a whack on the Spyderco Fine, and it keeps the fine edge very well. It's definitely a hard steel. It's not, under hardened 5CR15 or something. The edge it came with was pretty sharp from factory. I've been able to even improve it with my touch-ups. I use, this camera and the macro lens to make sure that at the really, really tiny level, the edge is clean. And as such, I've been able to even get a hair hanging test 3 or 4 edge on this. I'll have to get confirmation if it was 3 or 4 by asking, other knife nuts. But yeah, it's honestly a wonderful blade. You can kind of see the. Let me not cut up my my nice towel. You can see from the curvature that's the sort of knife that you're gonna be rocking a lot when you cut. This is definitely the one where you go back and forth in your cuts. This isn't very much a chopping down style knife like an Akiri. But if you're, a fan of Western profiles, if you want a knife with good steel, hard, very, very comfortable handle. Like I said, at start, very well polished. Really nothing negative to point out ergonomically. It kind of wants you in this grip. Like you can, come